Hi everyone, this is Group 5 with Doyle McAlpin, Ryan Moore, and Taylor Hare, here to discuss Real Estate Cycle 5, the Great Recession. We will be splitting up the presentation today by first discussing DFW's economy from 2004 to 2008 before the recession. We will then dive into what caused the economy to collapse in late 2008 and how it recovered, along with the lessons that we've learned through our research. The economy in Dallas-Fort Worth was booming from late 2003 to early 2008. DFW saw major growth during these years for a few different reasons. For one, DFW's transportation infrastructure brought major companies to the area, which increased construction and home buying. Secondly, population growth was increasing in DFW year over year, while employment growth was steady and outperformed the U.S. Finally, DFW's pro-business attitude and business-friendly state legislature kept its economy stable, while other areas around the country struggled immensely at this time. DFW's transportation infrastructure is one of the best in the nation. DFW serves as the headquarters of both American and Southwest Airlines, each having hubs within DFW International Airport and Dallas Love Field, respectively. Alliance Airport is also located in Addison, which serves as an industrial airport with an array of flight services, including corporate and government aviation. Additionally, Dallas's centralized position within the U.S. makes transportation from east to west coast very easy. Although population growth in DFW has been steady the past 50 years, there was a noticeable increase in 2006 and 2007. The average population growth between 2004 and 2005 was 1.8%, but between 2006 and 2007, 2 years later, it rose to 2.6%. While many attribute this increase to Americans moving into Dallas, immigration played a role as well. In 2006, it was recorded that 22% of Dallas's population was composed of Hispanic immigrants. Of those immigrants, 30% were undocumented or illegal. Many of these undocumented immigrants were hired by construction companies, which helped supply labor and build additional housing. In the 2 years leading up to the recession, employment growth in Dallas was accelerating. In those years, 2006 to 2007, DFW private sector employment growth averaged 3.3%. More precisely, financial service jobs grew 2.8%, office-using jobs grew 4%, and construction jobs grew 5.9%. It is important to note the growth of construction jobs during this time, as it is a great indicator of supply and demand within Dallas's economy. Clearly, in the years building up to the recession, there was a lot of expansion in the DFW area and a high demand for more infrastructure. It is also important to note that although DFW growth was negative in 2009 once the recession hit, it exponentially outperformed national employment growth, as shown in the graph above. Along with transportation infrastructure, population, and employment growth, many attribute the high growth years of DFW before the recession to the election of business-minded Mayor Tom Leppert in 2007. Leppert was known for his pro-business attitude and for supporting the growth of businesses and jobs in Dallas. Upon his election, Leppert famously stated, "Rather than punishing business, City Hall needs to start promoting business. Rather than alienating opportunity, we must start inviting it. Rather than dictating consequences, we need to start listening and producing results."
Now that we've discussed Dallas's economy before the recession, let's transition into how its economy was affected by the crisis. Quarter 1 of 2008 through quarter 4 of 2009 is characterized by financing freeze and a stark decline in asset pricing in not only the US but also the whole world. However, Texas was able to outperform the rest of the United States during this time, and we will later go into why, but first, here's a clip from The Big Short to explain how the crisis occurred.
No, money. Okay. I smell money. Okay. Chris. God damn it. Sorry. This is your basic mortgage bond. All right? The originals were simple. They were just thousands of AAA mortgages bundled together, guaranteed by the U.S. government. The modern ones are different. They're private, and they're made up of layers of tranches. The highest level AAA is getting paid first. The lowest rated B is getting paid last, taking on defaults first. Now, obviously, if you're buying Bs, you can make more money, but they're a little risky. Sometimes they fail. Chris? Somewhere along the line, these Bs and double Bs went from a little risky to dog shit. Where's the trash? I'm talking rock bottom FICO scores. No income verification. Adjustable rates, Dog shit. The default rates are already up from 1% to 4%, fellas. And if they rise to 8%, and they will, a lot of these triple Bs are going to 0 too. And that, you're too close, is an opportunity.
Okay, you're saying that at 8% the bonds fail and we are already at 4%?
That's right.
If they go to 8, it's Armageddon.
Once people started defaulting on their mortgages, both commercial and investment banks started taking on heavy losses. As a result, consumers started pulling their money out of the banks because they were afraid of losing their life savings. This led to banks having less money to put out and financing dried up. This is evident in the graph on this slide depicting the level of CMBS issuances during the time period. Furthermore, the lack of financing caused a sharp decline in the total number of transactions as seen on this slide. As the total number of transactions plummeted, pricing also fell dramatically. Banks were foreclosing on assets that they didn't want and would sell them for cents on the dollar just to get them off their books. This in turn caused distressed owners to have to sell their assets at a similar discount because the market has reset to reflect the pricing that the banks were accepting. The strong presence of the oil and gas industry was definitely the main driving force behind Dallas's success, but it was also aided by the state's pro-business mindset. The low taxes, coupled with the low cost of living, softened the blow for consumers. This also meant commercial properties were able to stay out of the hands of banks because tenants were able to pay their rent on time, allowing owners to pay their debt service on time, preventing foreclosure.
The primary driver for the recovery phase was Dallas's continuing population growth. Many of DFW's business leaders also had a positive outlook for the future of the DFW economy, which helped boost both consumer and investor sentiment. However, investors were still extremely cautious and began deleveraging their portfolios during this time. In 2010, Texas reported the highest state population gain in the U.S. for the fourth consecutive year. The consistent population growth helped lessen the severity of the recession and also helped Dallas rebound faster than other cities. Additionally, the Dallas job market regained half of the jobs lost in 2009 by June 2010. As optimism towards job growth in the city grew, tenants began making more long-term lease commitments in the office sector, driving demand for new development as well. In a 2010 SMU Cox CEO sentiment survey, over half of DFW's business leaders predicted improvement in the region's economy over the upcoming 12 months. This strong outlook made investors a little more willing to get back into the Dallas market. Even though the Dallas real estate market began improving not long after the recession, many investors proceeded with caution by deleveraging current assets in their portfolio and lowering their LTV on future acquisitions. This in turn led to the falling property prices in the DFW area.
While there are many lessons to be learned from the 2008 financial crisis, the key takeaways include the causes and the remedies of it. The rampant subprime mortgage default rates and the misaligned incentives of the credit rating agencies helped start the recession. To alleviate the negative effects of the downturn, government intervention implemented more accurate credit ratings, prevented predatory lending in addition to helping consumers understand the terms of their mortgages, and finally required lower levels of leverage. Thanks for listening to our presentation. Have a good day and stay safe.